Are you new to Davinci Resolve? Are you constantly wondering if there's a smarter and faster way to work? Are you just not sure if you're actually getting the most out of it and if your settings and preferences are set up in the best way possible? If you're not sure, then follow along here. Let me show you some of the settings I've learned to always change after years of using Davinci. I'll guide you through some of the most useful and necessary preferences to know and how to set them up, and I'll run over some of the lesser known but extremely helpful settings and tweaks you can do in Davinci to help you get the absolute best experience and help you work faster and smarter and making sure you're not losing any work in case of a crash. So let's jump into Davinci and let me show you. Okay, so here we are in Davinci, and let me be the first to say there is a lot of settings, there's a lot of preferences, sub-menus, contextual menus, there's a lot of things you can set up in Davinci. So as a new user of Davinci, it can be very overwhelming, and maybe you're not really sure if everything is set up correctly, but as an app out of the box, I would say 99% of how it is great, and you can just go ahead and use it. But after a while you find out there's a lot of things you can tweak and set up that's going to help you, save you a lot of time, a lot of pain, and a lot of extra work. So to help you get started with that, let me just show you where you could or what you should change, in my opinion. Basically, you can say you have, if you go down here in the corner, you have your projects. This is where you change settings related to each and every project. So this can change from project to project. It will not be carried over from one project to another. Whatever change you make here is going to stay within that project. If instead you go up to the Davinci Resolve menu and you go to Preferences, then you have a tab for System and for User. This is what you could call system-wide settings. Whatever you change here will stay like that throughout the system, and you can just set it and leave it. And this is actually where I would check up on the first thing. By default, if you go to Preferences, User, and Project Save and Load, Live Save should be enabled. If it's not, I would highly recommend to make sure it is. This can save your day. Basically what it does is every time you make a change, Davinci Resolve will save it, and it will perform a backup, and this is something you can enable if you want, but I set my backups to be performed every 5 minutes, so I'm never going to lose more than 5 minutes of work. And it's going to do an hourly backup every up until 4 hours, and it's going to do that for 8 days. So I'm pretty sure I'm safe if something should happen. If my computer or Windows should crash, I'm pretty safe here. So I would highly encourage you to do that. Another thing here is if you go down one to editing tab, and here you have the always highlight current clip in the media pool. If this is not on by default, so if you have a lot of clips, let's say you have hundreds of clips in a timeline, and you want to quickly be able to go to a clip in your media pool up here, well, maybe you're not sure, especially if you haven't grouped like I have here, where the clip is, and instead of looking around and trying to find the clip, you can just come to Preferences, Editing, and enable always highlight current clip in media pool, click Save, and now whenever I click on a clip, it's going to jump to the right bin, and it's going to highlight the clip for me up here in the media pool. So I never need to worry about having to find a clip if I need to duplicate it or do something or find some information about that clip. It's always there right at highlighted by Davinci. Then what you can do is, I would also recommend you to go to your project manager. So you click the little house icon down here, and you right click somewhere in the gray area here, and you select dynamic project switching. What this does, when enabled, you can open another project. And now you don't have to go back and forth between your project manager to go from one project to another. You just go up here to the top, and up here at the top you can select and jump to the other project. And you can have as many projects open as you want, so definitely a good thing to have enabled. Now at the top menu bar here, if you go to View and enable Show Duplicate Frames, what this is going to do is, let's say you have a frame and you need another part of the frame somewhere else, or maybe by mistake you copy a clip or a frame and used it twice, and you want to make sure it's not happening. So you go to View, Show Duplicate Frames, and Davinci is going to highlight whichever frames are duplicate. And the nice thing is here, it's going to keep them with the same color so you can easily see which ones you have duplicated. Second thing to do up here in the top menu is go back to View and go down to Show Power Bin. And basically what this is, a power bin is a place for you to, it's kind of like shortcuts. You can have folders with your projects, you can have music, you can have effects, you can have whatever you use. I have, for example, like a grid. Effects I use quite a lot to line up eyes, so I can just get that from the power bin, and this power bin will stay the same and follow you from project to project, so you always have it nice and handy as a shortcut on the side, and it's on the sidebar, as long as all your projects are on the same database. Very helpful, and it's going to save you a lot of time. Go back to menu, under timeline, selection follows playhead. I use this all the time. If I need to work on a clip, sometimes it can be difficult to get in between the clips here, and it can be difficult to highlight. Sometimes I'm not zoomed in. It's kind of like, okay, I know the clip is here, but yeah, it can be a little difficult to get to it. Well, instead of doing that, you go to menu, timeline, and you select selection follows playhead. Now sometimes I've seen a small bug, you need to just click around or maybe highlight a clip and then it will work. So now wherever your playhead goes, Davinci is going to select the clip underneath it. So whatever you're doing, you always have the clip highlighted directly underneath your playhead. So there you go, that's my general recommendations for setting up Davinci. There's a ton of other settings and preferences you can set up, but these are very helpful. It took me a while to figure them out or to find out how much time they could save me, so I hope this will help you. And if you have any other great tips or great preferences that you would like us to share, please let us know in the comments. Happy grading!